Alright, hello everybody. It is time for what's going to be the first Warrior of Light video of the week. I say first because, annoyingly, the friend unit's not up yet, and I don't have a Warrior of Light, and I have no one on my friends list who has a Warrior of Light. So, I mean, really pretty annoying in terms of being able to give, like, incredibly detailed notes at this point. Thankfully, Wotv did update tonight, so we can get a little bit of a idea for his improvement. So that's what this video is about. But, you know, just a heads up as a kind of what I feel like is an apology. It's just, I don't know, for whatever reason, there's no friend unit, but for whatever reason, there's also a friend unit for a banner that is gone at this point, which is the Lizzle banner. Her friend unit's still around today, which, you know, after the update, it probably shouldn't have been. Feels there's also a few other issues in game, so it kind of feels like a bug or something. Definitely doesn't feel like a feature. All right, so Warrior of Light. Not much has changed in terms of what you already know, because it shouldn't. A light elemental character with that is limited, 3 move, 1 jump, cost of 80, and has pretty stiff competition going up against Engelbert. I mean, if we look at the best tanks in the game right now, there's some good competition between, you know, Snow, between Engelbert, between, there's a lot of tanks with a lot of different features that make them very particularly very good. So Warrior of Light being super outdated kind of needed a fairly big upgrade, and thankfully, I mean, it is looking pretty good. Whether it's enough to actually be worth the investment, probably not, because, you know, there's always something better on the horizon. Otherwise, we wouldn't be gotching. So there you go. Taking a look, just as a reminder, his TMR is a 30% HP restore, as well as increasing his max HP up by 30%, and it does give auto restore of 10% for 3 turns for TP. Not my favorite TMR, still fairly outdated if you look at some of the stuff that's coming out, but it does have accuracy and could be useful against some evasion teams. So, you know, the TMR is fine. Looking at his master ability improvements, as you can see, before he got the 20% attack and the 5 defense, which was fine. Now what we're looking at, besides the usual for a ally of this element shtick, which is boring and tired, and I'm tired of announcing it, but do it. Increase attack by 20% still, defense up by an extra 10, magic resistance by 20% for self, increased chance of being targeted by 5, and when his HP drops below 50%, he will have a single time restore of 50% HP, which is pretty big. That is one of the things we're looking for with tanks. If they can survive and restore a lot of HP and maintain hate, then it's difficult for the opponent to get through it and deal with other units, supposedly. So that's particularly good. Also, taking a look at his dream/reincarnation, increase HP by 20% and his healing power by 20 for self too. What this stacks up to is Warrior of Light is definitely meant to be more of a wall type character. Very difficult to get through. Once you get into reincarnation, he'll have a lot of HP and will be difficult for some things to deal with. So all of that is particularly pretty good. As a reminder, some of his abilities have been upgraded as well, particularly the one that's really interesting for this unit. That isn't interesting for a lot of others is the Dragoon ability. 15% HP increase for himself is very good for a tank, and a healing power increase of 20 is also pretty big. I mean, if you look at just combining that, like the defense and spirit debuff resistance isn't that good anymore. I mean, mostly if you want that, you're going to be wanting up to 100%. And the magic resistance and dark resistance might just not be that important if you have just so much HP and so much healing capability. So defense, HP, and potentially the Dragoon ability looks to be kind of the way to go. Also with Dragoons, restore some HP. Maybe that's quite what you're looking to do since his counter was not improved. Now, looking down across there's one ability that I do want to bring up, which is this one, the restore HP of 60% for self. Because as you can already probably figure out, he does have a compounding effect. I mean, he has a reduce the damage, but, you know, the best units can remove barriers, so I'm not overly going to be too fussy about his barrier ability. But his HP restore of 60%, put a pin in that, because we're going to come back to it. Also, fair enough that he does have really good hate generation still, so all of that is fine. Looking at his job level 25 ability, does grant him a 10% HP restore. So if he was to get a good amount of HP, well, his HP restore is going to be doing a lot of work to keeping him alive. But looking across everything here, even with the upgrade to Warrior of Light Sword, I just don't see him ever being a DPS unit. And that's fine. He's a tank unit. He can do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, looking at how this unit has changed with the course of jobs, you can see that he kind of has two moves: massive amount of HP and restore that HP and potentially generate hate. Now, that's really interesting and completely useless in manual. However, in auto, he could be a really frustrating thing for people to get through if you can stack enough resistance. As a matter of fact, if you can stack just a really good amount of resistance, it might just be impossible to get through this unit. Seeing that reincarnations give it so much HP to tank-based units that they really do have a chance of being just too good in the future. So yeah, there's that. Now, looking at Spellblade obviously, you know, he doesn't have really great magic, so honestly never was that good. But Dragoon, now Dragoon's upgrades have given him, you know, protect status effect, which also gives him another way of surviving. He can also get around reaction blocking, or do reaction blocking, I should say, and give himself some critical and attack boost. So really, Dragoon looks like it has finally paid off for this unit. And looking at the final one, decreasing healing power while also dealing damage. Honestly, I think Dragoon is pretty fine for him. He has a lot of self-protect abilities and everything that has gone a long way to making this unit feel generally fairly improved compared to what he is. And so I want to show this. Now, this was the one thing I was able to find through my scouring. And there might be more on Twitter, but I'll be damned before I end up on Twitter, just because I don't like it at all. Personal preferences aside, let's talk about this. Now, this is interesting. So this is a Warrior of Light with the Dragoon ability that has been already increased to 140. I don't believe he's been reincarnated that many times, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, this was shared on my guild Discord by a user called PST, so give credit to him. This unit, looking at him, you can see a couple of things. First of all, 150,000 or 15,000 HP is not a small amount of HP, and it does seem to be the way that tanks are trending. As more reincarnations, that HP is only going to get higher. But you'll notice the heal. Now, the heal is absolutely incredible here. It is just a lot of healing power. It is a ton of healing power. Excuse me. It only works on him, but providing that you just remove almost every ability off of him and focus him entirely on hate generation, protection for himself, and last but not least, his own HP healing, in combination with his new master ability 2, which is when his HP drops by a certain percent, you have a really difficult character to kill, probably for the AI, maybe even problematic, but just by virtue of being a lot of HP. Now, here's the thing. This does look good on paper. He has initial hate now, he can generate a lot of hate from before, and he has powerful healing with a lot of HP. He can be a brick wall. However, I do think that over time, he is going to depreciate very quickly. This is one of those units that we always see that seems, wait a minute, this seems like something absolutely amazing, right? It seems like it's just too strong, like the devs made a mistake. But I feel like it's probably going to be in the line of when we saw like Mashery, original Mashery's MA2, where it was a like, whoa, look at all this resistance. And it just didn't amount to anything in the game because newer stuff was coming in and being better. And, you know, if they're pushing this kind of tank, I think eventually we're going to see the hard abilities to counter this, even if it is problematic. And there's a good chance that it could be problematic. It looks like on paper that this unit is nearly impossible to kill, as the amount of HP you can stack and potentially just the way you can set up his AI can tangle up auto people for basically ever. But I don't think it's going to be lasting too terribly long. And I don't think that it will be anything that will be like game influencing for too terribly long either, because it's going to be an incredibly negative experience. Like losing based on the timer in this game is a crappy way to determine it. Like you run out the 50 timer and you lose because of that is just a real shit rule in this game. Like if you have 3 characters standing and your opponent only has 1 standing, you should technically win. But if you run out the 50 timer, at least as far as I remember in this game, because it hasn't happened too terribly much, you lose. And I don't know. I just think that Warrior of Light looks really, really good, but I wonder how long this will last, kind of thing. Because Engelbert can stack a ton of HP, he can do all this kind of stuff, but Engelbert just isn't used that much, at least at the level of PvP I play at, and he's not exactly a really difficult character to get or have maxed, especially if you're a long-term player. So I don't know, it's like everything I want to say about initial impressions here is that it seems really, really good. And I want Warrior of Light players to be happy with this, because they should be happy about this. This looks really great. But I'm just curious as to where's the catch? Where's the rub? Because, yeah, if they make this character too strong and just depreciate every DPS in the future, I mean, that's not going to do anything good for banners or anything like that. So this feels probably better than it is. And again, as I was talking about, if this kind of thing were to become too oppressive, especially in major events like limited time stuff, most people will just play manual, kill the other 2 characters, and leave Warrior of Light behind. And I don't know, that point he gets outnumbered and you can probably chain him hard enough to just kill him anyway. But I don't know. Let me know your impressions, what you think of Warrior Light. But hopefully as the friend unit comes out, we will be able to test him a little bit more, see what he is like, and find out all the details. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the future. But just out of curiosity, if I was to go over here, and hopefully we're not going to hit too long of a loading screen. Yes. Don't make a liar out of me, game. Yeah, see, there's just no trial unit yet. No matter how many times I've reloaded and how many friends I've used. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.